Ever wondered why sometimes encouraging someone to do the opposite actually makes them do what you want? This curious paradox is what we call reverse psychology. It's a fascinating tool that, when used with finesse, can lead to remarkable outcomes. The concept of reverse psychology is indeed intriguing. It's like an invisible puppeteer's strings, subtly guiding actions and decisions. It's a psychological maneuver that plays on the fundamental human nature of autonomy, our innate desire to exercise free will, to feel that we are the master of our own decisions. The roots of reverse psychology can be traced back to the mid-20th century, where it was first recognized by psychologist Jack Williams Brehm. He observed that when people feel their freedom is being threatened, they react in a way to reassert their independence, often doing the exact opposite of what is being imposed on them. It's a bit like telling a child not to eat the cookies before dinner. The mere mention of the forbidden fruit almost guarantees that the cookie jar will be raided. We don't need to look too far to find examples of reverse psychology in our everyday lives. Ever found yourself reaching for the limited edition item in a store, even though you didn't initially plan to buy it? That's reverse psychology at work. By creating a sense of scarcity, marketers nudge you to make the purchase. It's a clever trick that taps into our fear of missing out. Or perhaps you've noticed it in popular culture. Remember the classic line from Star Wars, "These aren't the droids you're looking for"? Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't just using Jedi mind tricks. He was employing reverse psychology on those unsuspecting stormtroopers. So reverse psychology is everywhere, from our homes to the supermarket aisle, from the silver screen to the psychology textbooks. It's a testament to its power and the effect it has on our decision-making process. So that's the crux of reverse psychology. But how does it work exactly? Let's dive deeper into this fascinating psychological trick. The secret source of reverse psychology lies in the heart of human behavior. Picture this. You're in a bustling cafe, and a barista places a freshly baked chocolate chip cookie on the counter. A sign reads, "Please do not touch." What do you immediately feel? A sudden urge to touch it, right? This is a simple example of reverse psychology in action, a fascinating play of two psychological principles, reactance and autonomy. Reactance is the emotional reaction in direct contradiction to rules or regulations that threaten or eliminate specific behavioral freedoms. It's our knee-jerk response to resist when we feel our freedom is being infringed upon. When someone tells you, "Don't touch that cookie," your immediate response is to do just the opposite. Now, let's delve into autonomy, our inherent desire for self-determination. We all have an innate need to be the masters of our own destiny. We don't like being told what we can or cannot do. This need for autonomy is so strong that we're often driven to do the opposite of what we're told, just to assert our independence. These two principles, reactance and autonomy, work hand in hand to make reverse psychology effective. It's like a well-choreographed dance where one leads and the other follows, creating a beautiful, albeit complex performance of human behavior. Let's bring this concept into a real-life scenario. Remember when you were a teenager and your parents told you not to stay out late? The more they insisted, the more you wanted to do it, right? That's reverse psychology at work. Your parents' mandate triggered your sense of reactance and your need for autonomy, leading you to do the exact opposite. So, when you understand these principles behind reverse psychology, you can use them to your advantage. You can subtly influence others' behavior without them even realizing what's happening. But remember, it's a tool to be used with caution and respect for others' autonomy. So the more someone feels their freedom being threatened, the more likely they are to do the opposite. Interesting, isn't it? Now that we understand the mechanism, how can we apply reverse psychology effectively? Let's dive right in. First, consider the context. In parenting, for instance, reverse psychology can be a handy tool. Picture a child who is refusing to eat their vegetables. Instead of insisting they eat, you could say, "I bet you can't finish all your broccoli." Suddenly, the broccoli becomes a challenge rather than a chore. In relationships, reverse psychology can help open lines of communication. Say your partner is reluctant to discuss their feelings. Instead of pressing, you might comment, "I understand if you don't want to talk about it." This offers them the freedom to choose, often making them more willing to share. In negotiations, reverse psychology can be a game changer. If you're negotiating a price, you might suggest a higher number, knowing your counterpart will likely counter with a lower offer. But remember, this isn't about manipulation, it's about creating a win-win situation. Now let's talk subtlety and timing, two crucial elements in the art of reverse psychology. Subtlety is key. Being too obvious can backfire and lead to resentment or mistrust. This isn't about tricking people, it's about gently guiding them to see things from a different perspective. Your approach should be indirect, your words carefully chosen. Timing is equally important. Reverse psychology works best when the other person is emotionally invested in the situation. If they're indifferent, your attempts may fall flat. Wait for the right moment when they're engaged and their emotions are running high. Remember, reverse psychology isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. It requires finesse and a deep understanding of human behavior. It's about respecting the other person's autonomy while helping them see options they might not have considered. And finally, a word of caution. Reverse psychology is a powerful tool. Like any tool, it can be misused. It's not a license to manipulate or control others. It should always be used with empathy, respect, and good intentions. Remember, reverse psychology is a tool, not a weapon. Use it wisely and it can yield surprising results. Like every tool, reverse psychology also has its limitations and potential downsides. While the power of reverse psychology is undeniable, it's equally critical to understand the potential pitfalls that may accompany its use. One such pitfall is the risk of manipulation. When we employ reverse psychology, we're essentially trying to influence another's decisions or actions, often without their conscious awareness. This can easily veer into manipulation territory, especially if the intention behind the tactic isn't in the best interest of the person we're trying to influence. Imagine you're trying to convince a friend to join you for a hike. You know they're not particularly fond of physical activities, so you use reverse psychology, telling them that perhaps the hike might be too challenging for them. Your friend, wanting to prove you wrong, agrees to the hike. But if they end up having a miserable time, or worse, getting injured, you've manipulated their decision, potentially damaging your relationship. Another downside to consider is the possibility of reverse psychology backfiring. Let's take the example of a parent and a child. The parent, wanting the child to clean their room, might say, "I bet you can't clean your room in less than 10 minutes. The child, spurred on by the challenge, might rush and do a hasty job, leading to a less than satisfactory result. Or perhaps the child, having recognized the tactic, decides to rebel further and refuse to clean altogether. Moreover, overuse of reverse psychology can lead to a lack of trust. If someone feels they're constantly being reverse psychologied into doing things, they may start to doubt the sincerity of your words and actions. This can foster a sense of resentment and drive a wedge between you and the other person. So, while reverse psychology can be a powerful tool in our interpersonal toolkit, it's important to use it responsibly and ethically. It should be used sparingly, with the best interest of the other person in mind, and never as a means to manipulate or coerce. After all, the most effective communication is built on honesty, respect, and mutual understanding. So, while reverse psychology can be powerful, it's important to use it responsibly and ethically. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned about reverse psychology. This fascinating concept, coined by the brilliant Jack Williams Brehm, is a psychological phenomenon where a person's resistance to a certain idea or behavior is reduced by suggesting the opposite. It's like a gentle nudge in the right direction, but disguised as a push in the other way. The power of reverse psychology lies in its ability to subtly influence decisions and actions, while making the individual feel they are choosing their path. We've delved into the mechanism of reverse psychology beyond its surface-level understanding. It operates on the principle of reactance, a psychological state where individuals push back when they perceive their freedom of choice is being threatened. By suggesting the opposite of what we want someone to do, we're cleverly circumventing this resistance and encouraging them towards the desired action. Then, we explored the art of application. From parenting to sales and negotiation tactics, reverse psychology can be a game changer. However, it's not about manipulation, but about understanding the other person's perspective and aligning your objectives with theirs in a way that benefits both parties. It's about fostering a sense of autonomy, not coercion. Yet, it's crucial to remember the flip side of reverse psychology. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. There are situations where it can, particularly if used too frequently or inappropriately. It's also important to consider the ethical implications. Respect for the other person's autonomy and dignity should always be paramount. So there you have it. Reverse psychology, a powerful tool that taps into our innate desire for freedom and autonomy, skillfully guiding decisions and actions. But like any tool, it requires careful handling. It's a delicate balance between influence and manipulation, freedom and coercion. Remember, understanding human behavior can be a powerful tool in your arsenal. Use it wisely, and you can navigate your way through life's many challenges. If you found this video informative and interesting, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends. For more content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more insightful videos.